This is the video for your notes on SOL 8.9 or 3D figures. You'll need one pencil and 3 highlighters. Colored pencils or markers, preferably pink, orange, and yellow. An object that has width, height, and depth. So it has 3 dimensions and it kind of pops off the paper. Okay, so this is a 2-dimensional representation, but this is a 3D figure. So anything that looks like it pops off of the paper at you is going to be a 3D figure or a 3-dimensional shape. So each of these have a width, a depth, and a height. A 2-dimensional representation of what you would see when looking at a 3-dimensional figure from the front instead of at an angle. So I'm looking at this kind of at an angle and it looks like it's popping off the page at me. So if I look at it just from the front, I would see the view here. And if I look at this one from just the front, I see the 2 bottom blocks here, the 2 blocks on the top, and the 1 long block on the right. So this is the front view of that 3-dimensional figure. So we're looking at the front view, and that's normally the first thing you see. A 2-dimensional representation of what you would see when looking at a 3-dimensional figure from the left or right sides instead of at an angle. So we're looking at this and it looks like it pops off the page. And this is the front, so here you kind of see the left side. And we've got the front here, and we're kind of looking at the right side. That's the side that it's turned to. And each of these 2 are side views of the 3-dimensional figures that you see in the center. A 2-dimensional representation of what you would see when looking at a 3-dimensional figure from the top instead of at an angle. So if I'm looking at this 3D figure, you normally look at it from the front, but the top would be looking down on it. Now the top and the bottom would normally look the same. So we see those 3 at the top and then 1 sticking out. And here we're looking down at the top and we see that it kind of goes around and then has the long end piece, and that's what we would see from the top. The side that we see first is the front view, and we see that there's 3 blocks on the bottom, so we're going to draw those 3 squares for that side of the block, and we see that there's 2 more blocks above the right and middle piece. On the side, we see the right side. On the side, we see 3 blocks on the bottom, but we also see 1 block above the rightmost block, so the side view is going to be an L shape. Looking at the top view, we see that there are 3 at the top of the top view. So we're going to make those 3 blocks. And there's 3 more blocks below those 3. So we're going to draw 3 more below it. And the leftmost block, there's another block below it. And the rightmost block, there's another block below it. But in the center, there's a little hole. So we're going to leave that blank. Looking at the front side, so we have the front, the side, and the top view. The front side, I see that there are 3 blocks on the bottom, and there's 1 block above the leftmost block and another block above the center block, but nothing on there. So we're done with the front view. And the side view, I see that there are 3 blocks that are on the bottom looking in that direction. There's 1 block above the leftmost block. There's a little space in the center, but there's another block above the rightmost block, and that's as high as it goes. From the top, I see that there are 3 blocks towards the back, and the middle block, there's another block, and the left block, there's another block, and the left block, we see 3 on that side. So looking at the top, we kind of have a stair pattern. This one, you have the front has 3 blocks, and above that we see 3 more blocks above each of those. So we see a 2x3 rectangle. On the side, we actually see a long block, and this time we're looking at the left side, and we see another long block above it. We see 3 long blocks that are kind of facing down if we turn it and look at just the top portion. So those are the front, side, and top views. This first side we see is the front, and to the right we have the side, and then we're looking at the top. So the front, I think it would be easier to kind of look at these 4 blocks. So the front view, we've got 4 blocks that we're drawing, and then we kind of see that on the leftmost block, there's another block below that, so we're going to draw that block below, and on the rightmost block, we can draw another one, and that is all. Those are all the blocks that you can see from the front. From the side, or looking at the right side, we can see that we have 2 blocks on the bottom. So we're going to draw those 2 blocks on the bottom, and I can also see that there are 2 blocks above these 2 blocks, and we're going to draw the 2 blocks for these 2 that are above here, and we kind of see a square, 2x2 square on this side. But we will also be able to see this block that's hanging out over here, and that's going to be on the top row with the other ones, because we see that they're all kind of in line with that top stack. On the top, we are going to have 4 that are coming down, so 4 blocks down. So here are those 4 blocks, and we see another 4 to the right of those, so we're going to draw 4 more to the right, and we see 1 more at the top, but nothing else below there. So those are the 3 views for that figure. So 3 different views of a 3-dimensional figure constructed from cubes are shown below. Which of the following figures could these views represent? So if I'm looking at the top, I am going to take my yellow highlighter, and I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 coming off of that 4th. So it's kind of an L shape. So let's look at the top of these. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and off the top one, we're going to have 1 more. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 1 to the right. So A and C work. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing 1 here, and we're also missing another 1 to make that L shape. And that's why B is not correct. The top view isn't correct. Looking at D, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. However, we need another 1 that's to the right of the 4th one, not the 3rd one. So D does not have the correct top view either. Now let's highlight to kind of see what our front view would be. Our front view, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns of 4 blocks. So I have 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. So A matches the front view. And then C, we have column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4 matches the front view as well. Now, looking at the side view, I have a column of 4, then a column of 3. So I have a column of 4, and then I have a column of 3. Here I have a column of 4, but then I have a column of 2. So now the right side, or the left side here, right side and left side would be equivalent, isn't correct, and A is the figure being shown with those views. Which could be a 2-dimensional view of this block of cubes? So if I look at this view, I see that we have a group of 4 and then a group of 3, and I don't see that as any of the choices. So that's my side view, and I don't see 4 squares and then 3 squares, so that's not a view that I see as one of my answer choices. And let's go to the front view. I have a group of 4 and then a group of 3 in those columns, and that's not what I see in any of the answer choices for the front view. Looking at the top view, I have a little L shape, and then I have a bigger L shape, so I have a 3 by 3 L shape, and then I have a 4 by 4 L shape that would give me my top view, and I see that in answer choice C. I have a 3 by 3 elbow shape and then a 4 by 4 elbow shape, and C is the top view of the figure. So C is the correct answer. Color in the figure that has the front view shown below. So looking at this picture, I want to have a column of 3 blocks and then a column of 2 blocks to the right of it. So a column of 3 and then a column of 2. That looks good so far. A column of 3 and a column of 2, well, we have an extra block that's going to mess that up. So figure 2 doesn't have that view. Figure 3, the front view, we have a group of column of 3 and a column of 2, and this last block is not there. Shouldn't be there if I want that view. And from the front view here, I need a column of 3, then a column of 2. This is kind of flip-flopped. So figure 4 does not have that as a front view. And figure 1 is the correct 3D figure. Determine if each 3D model below has the top view shown to the right or not. So here I have a column of 4 and then 1 that is to the right of the top. So I have a column of 4 and then 1 to the right, and that has the correct top view. So this 3D figure has the same top view that is drawn above. I have a column of 4 and then 1 block to the right. So this has the correct drawing, and here I have a group of 3. I need that 4th one and then over to the right before this has the correct view, the correct top view. Here I would need 4 and then 1 to the right, and this is not seen, so that does not have the correct top view. We have 4 and then 1 to the right. We have the one that's going to the right a little bit too soon, so that is not the correct top view either. And here we only have a group of 3. We need that 4th one and then another block off to the right. So this one is not correct either.